The small cafe on Maple Street buzzed with the afternoon rush, espresso machines hissing, plates clinking, and the sweet smell of cinnamon rolls drifting through the air. But at the corner table by the window, Alara Wynne sat painfully still, her fingers nervously twisting the fabric of her faded blue dress. This was her first blind date in years, and she was already regretting coming. Her reflection in the window looked nothing like the confident woman she longed to be. Her lipstick was too light, her hair slightly frizzy from the humidity, and her dress was one she had borrowed from her neighbor. A dress that didn't quite fit, but she wore anyway because her own clothes were too worn for a date. Then her phone buzzed. She grabbed it instantly, heart pounding. Unknown number. "Hey, I saw you from outside."
Sorry, you're not really my type.
"Good luck, though." Alara stared at the message, felt her heart drop, felt something inside her shatter a little. He never even came inside. He judged her from a window. Her throat tightened, and she blinked fast to keep the tears from falling. She didn't want to cry in public. She'd done enough of that in her life. So she stood up to leave, her hands trembling, her dignity hanging by a thread. That's when she bumped into someone, hard enough to knock her back a step. "Oh, sorry, I didn't see," she started but stopped cold. A man stood before her. A man who looked just as tired and just as lost as she felt. Messy, dark hair. A white shirt with a milk stain on the front. Eyes that carried the weight of 100 sleepless nights. Behind him stood a small girl, hiding shyly behind his leg, clutching a stuffed bunny. I didn't mean to bump you," he said breathlessly. "We were rushing."
I'm Eli.
"Eli Rowan." "It's fine," Alara whispered. But the man didn't move. Instead, he studied her with gentle concern. "Are you okay?" he asked. Alara opened her mouth, but nothing came out. Her heart, raw and bruised, finally slipped through her control. "No," she whispered. "Not really." Eli's expression softened instantly. "Come sit with us," he said before he could stop himself. Alara shook her head. "No, I shouldn't." But the little girl tugged her sleeve softly. "Daddy says people should never cry alone," the child said with a small, innocent voice. "You can sit with us. I'm Anna." That tiny gesture, that simple kindness, broke the last of Alara's defenses. She nodded. The table of broken people who found each other by accident. Eli guided her back to the corner table and pulled out a chair for her. She blinked at the unexpected chivalry, something she hadn't seen in a long, long time. "Thank you," she murmured. Eli sat across from her, his daughter climbing into the seat beside him and hugging her stuffed bunny as if it were a treasure. "Do you want water?" he asked gently. She nodded, unable to trust her voice. As he handed her the glass, their fingers brushed. It felt warm, steady,
Real.
"So, rough day?" Eli asked softly. Alara let out a broken laugh. "More like a rough life." He didn't joke it away. He didn't say same. He simply waited, patient as a quiet listener. "It was supposed to be a date," she admitted. "But he saw me through the window and texted to reject me." Anna gasped dramatically. "He's a bad man. Daddy, she is very pretty." Alara felt tears prick her eyes again, but this time, they were tears of unexpected comfort. Eli looked at her with a steady, sincere warmth. "Some people don't deserve to meet good souls," he said softly. "Consider yourself lucky he walked away first." She blinked, startled by his words. Lucky? She had never once felt lucky. "What about you?" she asked. "You look like you've had a long day too." He exhaled slowly. "I'm a single dad," he said simply. "Every day is long." A soft, sad laugh escaped him. "Her mom passed away 2 years ago. It's just us now. I'm working 2 jobs, trying to be a father, a mother, and a human being all at once. Some days, I don't know if I'm doing any of it right." Alara's heart tightened. This wasn't a man with a perfect life. This was a man surviving with courage he didn't even know he had. "You're doing better than you think," she whispered. Eli looked at her, really looked at her, with eyes full of quiet gratitude. "No one's told me that in a long time," he said. The question that shattered him. They talked for nearly an hour. Not as strangers, but as two tired souls who finally found someone who understood. They talked about hope,
Loss.
loneliness, dreams that life tried to steal from them. And then, out of nowhere, Alara's voice cracked as she asked, "Do you think I still deserve happiness?" Eli froze, because he had asked himself that same question so many times that he had forgotten what hope even felt like. "Why would you even ask that?" he whispered. "Because life has spent years telling me otherwise," she replied. And today, I believed it. Eli leaned forward, his voice low, firm, and heartbreakingly sincere. "Alara, listen to me carefully." She lifted her gaze. "You deserve happiness simply because you are still trying, still hoping, still showing up, even when it hurts." He paused. "And because you were brave enough to ask that question. Most people hide it." She didn't know how to answer. No one had ever spoken to her like that. Not with pity, with truth. Anna reached across the table and placed her tiny hand over Alara's. "You're nice," the child declared. "Nice people get happy endings." Alara laughed softly, wiping the corner of her eyes. "I wish life worked that way." Eli shook his head. "It can," he said. "Sometimes all it takes is meeting the right person on the worst day." That sentence, simple yet powerful, made Alara's heart beat strangely fast. Not because of romance. Not yet. But because she felt seen. Maybe for the first time in her life. The moment Maya asked that fragile question, "Do you think I still deserve happiness?" Arav felt something twist deep inside him. He had met strong people, successful people, even heartbreaking liars. But never someone who asked for permission to feel worthy. He looked at her, this trembling girl with hope in her eyes fighting against years of pain, and he realized, this wasn't just a blind date. This was someone trying to rebuild her life, brick by shaky brick. And he wasn't walking away.
Not now.
Not ever. Red Heart, the truth she never told anyone. As they sat in that quiet cafe corner, Maya finally opened up, not because she had to, but because someone for the first time listened without judgment. Her voice cracked as she revealed, "I wasn't always like this. I wasn't always scared. I wasn't always alone." Arav felt his chest tighten. She continued, "I was engaged once. He left me the day I lost my job. Said I was no longer useful. I believed him. I believed every awful word." Arav clenched his jaw. "After that, I stopped dressing up. I stopped dreaming. And today, when I walked here, I honestly didn't think you'd stay." He swallowed. Hard. "Why?" he asked gently. Her eyes softened, filled with a grief she had carried far too long. "Because people don't stay when you're broken." Arav almost interrupted. But he didn't. Because she needed to finish. "Today, I wasn't late because I wanted to be disrespectful. I was late because I stood outside the cafe for 15 minutes trying to breathe. Trying to convince myself I deserved to walk inside." Tears finally slipped down her cheeks. And Arav, single dad, overworked, exhausted by life, felt something crack inside him. It wasn't pity. It was recognition. Because he had been broken too. Red Heart, the single dad's secret. Arav inhaled sharply before telling her the truth no one else knew, except his daughter. "My wife died during childbirth," he said quietly. "I became a father, a widower, and a failure in one night." Maya lifted her head. Arav continued, looking down at his trembling hands. "For years, I thought I didn't deserve a second chance. I believed my heart was too damaged to offer anyone anything." He met her eyes. "But then my daughter looked at me last night and said, 'Papa, you should smile more. Maybe someone can help you smile.'" Maya covered her mouth. Arav leaned forward. "And then I saw you walk in today, not perfect, not polished, but brave. You thought you came here broken, Maya. But all I saw was someone who showed up even when it hurt." Maya stared at him, breath caught in her throat. "You didn't give up on love," Arav whispered. "You just needed someone who wouldn't run." Red Heart, the twist. She didn't know who he really was. Up until now, Maya believed Arav was just a humble single father working a normal job. But everything changed when the cafe owner rushed to their table. "Sir," Your driver is outside. He said you have a business meeting. Should I tell him to wait? Maya froze. Driver? Business meeting? Arav rubbed his forehead awkwardly. Maya, I didn't want to mention this because I didn't want to scare you away, but… She blinked rapidly, confused. I own a pharmaceutical company, one of the biggest in the city. Maya's heart dropped into her stomach. Her breath turned shaky. You're a CEO? Arav nodded, looking almost embarrassed. I didn't want you thinking this was one of those rich man meeting a poor girl stories. I wanted this to be two broken humans learning to breathe again. Maya was speechless. That's when he smiled gently and reached across the table. You asked me if you still deserve happiness. Well, if anyone deserves it, it's you. Red heart, the most unexpected question. Arav took her hand softly, not to claim her, but to study her. Maya, I'm not asking for your answer today. I'm not even asking you to trust me right away. I just want to know.
He paused.
Can I walk with you for a while? Not ahead of you, not behind you, just beside you. Maya's lips trembled. For the first time in years, she didn't feel like a burden. She didn't feel like a mistake. She felt seen. And when she finally answered, her voice was barely a whisper. Yes, I'd like that. Red heart, moral of the story. Sometimes the people who think they deserve nothing are the ones who actually deserve the most gentle love. Everyone carries a story. Everyone hides a scar. But kindness, patience, and simple human connection can rebuild what life tried to destroy. Never assume someone's worth by how they look, how they arrive, or how broken they appear. The strongest souls are usually the ones who fought silent battles. And all they needed was someone who chose to stay.